week or whatever, we've been... I mean, when did we actually get the blueprint stuff usable? You know, we created the massive system for handling movement state changes on Saturday. I mean, we spent, like, I guess a couple days, because we had, like, a call and all that stuff, and we fixed animation events and a whole bunch of animation garbage. But it does take a long time to actually customize all the movement and do all the little tiny detail things that we're doing right now. Which is like being able to jump from crouch, being able to, you know, enter things properly, and getting toggle controls, and like death by 1,000 cuts, basically. You know, you don't think it's a whole heck of a lot of work to get all this animation and all these states hooked up, but then you actually sit down and start working on it, and you're like, man, there's like 200 million things to do. And if you tried to make a list of all those things before you started, you just wouldn't be able to do it, because it's not until you start messing with it that you see exactly what's broken. So let's go to our player logic object, and our compile, we're going to have errors. So clear surface allowed zdiff is no longer in existence. It is now clear snap to closest z. And this should be set snap to closest z. And we're going to say yes, true. Gain by 1,000 cuts. It's true. Alright, well, let's see if this actually works then. So it looks like we're not having trouble on a flat surface, but we are having trouble on one of those surfaces. Oh, interesting. It's not the snap to floor that's having us fall through. It's something else. Alright, so this is jump, and this is locomotion on ground. Alright, well, we'll have to recompile with some of these fixes in here. Alright, so let's see exactly when we're falling off of this platform. Let's set up our state nicely so that we're... Whoa! Ah. Let's set up our state nicely so that we just fall onto the platform immediately. Alright, so we are falling here because our collision distance was way too far. So it was our starting position. Well, didn't we fix some of this with like update, snap to floor? Like, we actually set our test position to this thing. So what we want to do with this sweep movement object start position stuff is do this, test position needs to be this start position plus negative down, multiply by this bigger float, and we should definitely do this sort of thing with that test pos. So let's see if that doesn't. Mopping the floor there? Yeah. Alright, well, we'll see you when you get back. Hopefully, this will just work then. Why didn't we get a breakpoint? Because I disabled them? Again, the collision distance was too far. The hit was a blocking hit. Distance was really far. Floor 49. Alright, well, let's just... Yet again, let's just walk in and see exactly what's going on with this floor stick distance stuff. Not liking what it's doing. And let's see why it's failing the floor. So let's go in and see what it's doing here. Alright, so snap to surface is true. Our current surface C is 2. Surface C is 0.9. So we had 2 hits. One was a blocking hit, and we started while penetrating the object. So it should be in the Z. So we got 21,024, and the test position was 21,025. Well, why don't we... Why don't we just make this really big, you know, like bigger tiny float? Didn't we make this a lot bigger? Let's check our global utils real quick. Yeah, it's this penetration distance is what we were working with. So let's see if that has any effect. Alright, and we are no longer falling off our platform. Ah, there we go. Honestly, we should just make that penetration distance a lot bigger for the initial test. Like, there's no reason that we shouldn't make this value larger. So let's add it. So this will take just a little while to compile. So let's just wait. Let's see. Let's see, are there any good deals on Steam while we wait? What, Torchlight 2 is on sale? Bunch of random stuff. The problem is I pretty much own all these games. Heroes 5. I don't think I ever played that one. It's probably trash. Alright. Let's boot this up and see what it does. It's kind of funny that the initial check, we're already on the ground, is what's screwing us up. And not the other ones. Not the snapping to floors. So which thing is actually messing it up? It's neither of those. So this is getting this update snap to floor. Well, maybe I just need this surface test diff sort of thing going on here for this. We're still just messing around with a lot of stuff. We just keep messing with all this frickin' Raycan's physics, finding little stupid things and just messing with all the numbers. Well, eventually we'll not mess with the numbers, and that's probably after we ship the game. Or one of these days, I just completely lose my mind and just decide I'm going to redo the whole physics system, and it's going to be using different geometry. How in the fuck is this even close? I have absolutely no idea how in the hell that happens. Alright, so we had 2 hits, and we're already penetrating the object. Okay, so I mean, do I need to just add this number right here? I think that's probably what's going on. Is that we have this collision point stuff going on that's screwing things up. I remember I have a comment over here that says make sure this value is larger than gmove bigger tiny float, which was the amount that we were moving our test up. So I think there was a thing there which we were screwing up. Alright, that's looking like it's actually working. So let's run around a little bit and make sure it's actually working as we think it should. He's trying to jump, but he can't. He's like, ah! Alright, so the next thing we need to fix is, well, I should go double check that on the test level movement test, that we stick to our platforms properly. And it doesn't look like we are. So the question would be, why we don't go up? Just bust the rock? Yeah, I'm working on it. Alright, so snap to surface should be false, and we'll hit the breakpoint, but it's never being set to false. Alright, so let's see, snap to surface. Set snap to closest Z. Is never getting called? Let's see, it should be called in the player controller. Yeah, we have set snap to closest Z, so it's if the key is down, left stick down action. Set snap to closest C. It's not getting called? Alright, this is confusing. Why are these two things aren't getting called? I'm assuming maybe they got optimized out, but it's just not happening. So let's just throw some info logs out there, so even if it is being optimized, it'll at least be optimized in a way where we can tell. Maybe things weren't compiled or something else happened. Let's put up the other level and see what we've got. Okay, this is what's going on right here. It's taking the first hit. Alright, So basically what we want to do is if hit.be blocking hit, then we want to break. Otherwise, we don't want to break. Alright. That's what's going on. We're taking the first hit regardless because of that break there. Alright, if a response was null, then we're not putting it together. So if response was non-null pointer, then we actually care about it. Otherwise, this guy is... They didn't care about a response, so they're not caring about a whole bunch of stuff. In which case, yeah, there was a collision, so deal with it. Alright. So that might actually solve it. Let's go double check it. Interesting. So what did we change? It's taking the blocking hit that was below it? Well, the zdiff stuff we can actually just undo. I think that was unrelated to this. So why don't we just undo what we did. So let's look at our diff here for our moving object. Because obviously what I was doing is just not working, so I should just bail on it. Alright, so we want this snap to surface Z. It's going to be gone. Alright, that should allow us to recompile this, and then we'll go fix the issues that we had with the other things. Alright. Then we'll have to fix the blueprints. Because it wasn't the zdiff stuff like I thought it was. The zdiff stuff was working just fine. And setting up the zdiff stuff to use a different toggle for how it's figuring stuff out, it just really wasn't working out. I'd have to change a lot of how the collision was working. Alright, what the fuck? What did I miss here? Get surface C, clear a lot. Starting to lose it. Which probably means it's a decent time to stop in a very short amount of time. Which is pretty good. Like, we just want to finish fixing this, and then I'll take a look at. I had one thing left on my list here, which is crouching on a slope looks really bad. I could take a stab at thinking about a better way to position the character on the slope. If there's a way to rotate only the graphics portion of it, or rotate the graphics and something else. Like, maybe not rotate the physics box, but rotate the sprite a little bit. And rotate the hitbox. Alright, so let's go to the player logic object. Let's compile it and fix our compile errors. So the methods that we have are clear surface C allowed diff, and I think it was set. I think we had it at 0.1. Now this is the other issue that kind of sucks with blueprints, is I can't just look up version control stuff and see exactly what was in this blueprint. Which is, you know, I really wish they had some sort of text-based flow node thing here, as opposed to obviously a binary. Because if it was text-based, at least you'd be able to look at it and then you could kind of figure it out just by like, oh, well, this is what it was. Or you'd be able to have like a viewer or something like that in order to take a look at it. So let's see if this works. Alright, so good, we're not doing all the weird crap like we were before. Now let's go to our test level for moving around and see if we're having the same problems. Yeah, the camera's freaking out there because that's terrain when it should be environment. And that's what we're talking about. He can put his butt through stuff. But that's okay. That's kind of... It's just how games work. I'm not too worried about that. Alright, let's speed up that antic a little bit. I think that's in our movement. Let's see, the jump. Is the jump animation played inside of jump? Inside of here? So the question would be, is there a way that we can have Bitey when he is on a big slope like this? You know, have his sprite look proper. You know, like not have him kind of floating with his butt in the air. Because when he's just standing there, it's not nearly as bad. I don't know, let's take a look at it real quick. So if we have Bitey right here, and why don't we just cut him out? So if we take him and we rotate him, kind of like that, is he gonna look right? I mean, if we rotated him like that, you know, like on a freaking mountain, he looks like an idiot. But for a certain angle, like, it's not awful. And that angle is basically based on how wide his sprite is. So we could have his movement state actually like, it also depends on like how fast he's going, right? So like if he was like running all the hell